mga ka-OFE, magandang umaga, hapon o gabi at kung saan man kayo naroroon sa mundo. Para sa mga bago pa lang sa aming community, kami po ang Overseas Filipino Entrepreneurs, isang platform na nagbibigay kaalaman at inspirasyon sa bawat OFW pagdating sa mindset, pag-iinvest at pagninegosyo. Ang mission po namin ay tulungan ng bawat OFW na maging isang OFE. From working abroad to building a brighter future through entrepreneurship. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our social media pages, Facebook and YouTube. So, dyan yung mapapanood yung mga episodes natin, mga updates, mga events, etc. etc. So, welcome to episode 15 of Season 8. Tara na, simulan na natin ang kwentuhan. Ako nga pala si Janjan, ang inyong host at ang aking partner for today.
Ayan si Carl, ang inyong tito host for today.
Tito. So, 'di ba? So, yung mga regular natin, matagal na nilang hindi tayo nakikitang sabay 'di ba? Na parang yung dalawang tito magkasabay. Usually, kung ako yung nasa host, na main host, si Carl wala. So, meron kaming kasamang iba. Pero this time, so napaka-special nitong episode namin kasi ang tagal namin hindi nagsama sa isang episode. So, excited na ako makipagkwentuhan ulit. So, ayun, pare Koy.
Ayun. So kung nakita nyo nga, no, excited si Tito Janjan. No? Actually, ako sobrang excited din. And syempre, yun nga, kakatapos lang natin ng episode natin last week na sana na-enjoy nyo din. So maganda yung episode last week kasi from different industry siya, mula nung bago siya mag-abroad and then pagdating niya sa Dubai, ang dami niyang different industries na sinubukan. And then, ayun, ginamit niya yung experience niya sa mga industries na yon and nagtayo siya ng isang virtual agency which is sobrang relevant today, 'di ba? And ang isa sa pinaka nakakatuwa dito, yung talents is coming from the Philippines. 'Di ba? So kung hindi niyo napanood yung episode na yon, balikan niyo yung YouTube channel namin and mapapanood niyo yung buong kwento ng paano nga niya ba naitayo ang isang virtual agency. Ayan. So, again, balikan nyo yan. And ito, ngayon, meron na naman tayong exciting story na uumpisahan ni Tito Janjan.
Yeah. So, maraming salamat, no, Uncle Carl, sa pag-recap. So, ngayon, papakilala na natin, no, ayoko na mag-antay kasi kanina ko pa marami akong gusto itanong kanina sa backstage. Pero, syempre, pangit na uulitin ko ulit, di ba? So, pakilala na natin ang very special guest natin for tonight. So, behind the scrubs is a passionate investor, financial educator, and the brilliant author of the published book, Zero to Hero, a journey that inspires Filipinos to take charge of their financial future. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Evan Louis Madrina. Let's go!
Ayan.
Hello
po. Hello, Janjan and Carl. Maraming salamat po sa pag-imbita po sa akin dito. It's an honor to be a guest. And sa mga ka-OFE, maraming salamat din.
Napakaganda talaga. Kaya sabi ko sa iyo, Carl, napaka-excited. Maraming salamat, Evan, first of all, for accepting our invitation. No? So, mamaya pag-usapan natin paano ka napunta dito and paano ka na-guest. Pero, nung binabasa ko yung, yung introduction mo, sabi ko, shoot to sa banga kung bakit namin sinimulan tong OFE, di ba? Na parang about finance kasi yun nga, yung knowledge about finance hindi naman tinuturo talaga sa school, di ba? Yung natin, yung kabataan natin. So, ang dami kong naiisip pero yun nga, ibibigay ko na muna kay Carl warm up para
sige.
Na tayo.
So, yung i-hold muna natin yung excitement ni Tito Janjan, no? So, doon muna tayo sa scrub bago tayo doon sa hero. So, paano ka nag-umpisa bilang sabihin natin bilang nurse and paano ka nag-abroad?
So, nag-umpisa ako bilang nurse. I've started my bachelor's in nursing degree sa Central Escolar University in Makati. So, ang daming nursing noon kasi 2011 ako nag-graduate. So, nag-start ako 2007. during that time, there were a lot of Filipinos who wanted to become a nurse. Mostly kasi mga ano yan eh, parents talaga yung may gusto nga.
Parents yung may gusto.
May gusto talaga nun eh. And that time,
Totoo
wala,
yun.
di ba? Madami yan, mga kabatchmate ko, dami talaga na ng first year, ang tatanungan, gusto mo ba yung nursing? Sabi, syempre, ang sino ba nagpapaaral? Yung magulang. So, it makes sense as well because bago mag-college, marami sa atin naman na hindi talaga alam yung gusto pa talaga. Doesn't know about the real world. So, obviously, ang magde-decide sa'yo, parents mo, kung anong course na sa tingin nila na makakabuti. They're doing it for your own good, for their children's good naman. So that time, boom na boom ng nursing, madami nakapag-abroad. Then, syempre, kapag nag-abroad ka, maraming pera. Yun yung connotation lagi. Magagaan daw ang buhay. So, I took nursing, graduated in 2011. Then, I've started working on the same year. Very lucky ako to have worked immediately after a few months passing my licensure exam in the Philippines. Kasi most nung kabatchmate ko, hindi agad nakapagtrabaho nun. Although, mostly kasi noong time ng 2011, volunteerism. Baka malamang na rinig nyo na din yun, tsaka yung mga ibang ka-OFE natin, ay yung mga nurses na nag-volunteer, mga hindi nabayaran, kailangan na experience, charge it on experience, basically. But then, kaya ako sinasabi na very lucky ako kasi that time, may government program on Department of Health na kukuha kami ng mga nurses to work in one of their several government hospitals in Manila. I think even sa mga probinsya, ginawa din nila yun. So, may kaibigan ako, connection naman din. Basta makapasok sa ganyan, kailangan ng connection. So, may kaibigan ako na may kamag-anak na head nurse din sa hospital. So, this is National Children's Hospital in Manila. So, yung kaibigan ko, naisip niya agad ako, sabi, tara, trabaho tayo dito, 1 year experience, may sweldo pa 8,000 pesos that time. So, sabi ko, kunin ko na yan. Taga Laguna ako. So kahit malayo, nag-dorm ako doon. Then, ayun, doon ay nagsimula yung nursing experience ko from 2011 up until to this day. I still work as a nurse. Most experience ko sa Philippines was from 2011 up until 2018. Then I migrated to the United Kingdom from 2018. So, yeah.
Okay, sige. Yung nurse, no, totoo yun nun, pero medyo nakarelate ako sa'yo dun sa sinasabi na lahat halos nung batch natin, no, pinag-nurse. Kasi naalala ko yung parents ko nun, pinipilit din ako mag-nurse. Medyo matigas lang ulo ko. Sabi ko, hindi, pag pinag-nurse nyo ako, hindi ako makakatapos. Sabi ko, gano'n. Baka ako, himatayin ako kasi may dugo. At tapos ang daming memorization. Mahina ako sa yung gano'n, yung may memorize na ako. Hindi ako ubra, sabi kong gano'n. Pero talagang marami tayong mga kababayan, no, na talagang, kasi at that time talagang pumutok yung nursing, di ba? Parang,
and saka ang target talaga is mag-ibang bansa.
Yes, yun na nga, yung blueprint na, okay, pagkatas mo dyan, kuha ka experience, alis ka, kasi nga yung nurse, very on demand daw sa ibang bansa. So, nagawa mo yung blueprint, no, Evan, kasi yun nga, nabanggit mo, you work in the Philippines, tapos pumunta ka sa United Kingdom. Bakit and paano nangyari yun? Like, talaga bang at the time no nag-work ka sa Pilipinas, ito na talaga yung plano mong bansa? Nagkaroon ng opportunity, ginrab mo? Kwento mo kaming konti, paano nangyari yun?
Sige. So, 2011 graduated. Wala akong ambisyon nun. As in, wala. Zero. Sabi ko lang, basta makagraduate ako. Going back nga pala ulit dun sa university, nung sa Central Scholar University, the reason lang talaga na nakapasa ako is first, kasi pinag-aral ako magulang ko, nakakahiya naman na bumagsak ka. Tapos may pressure. Siyempre, kung bagsak ka, alam mo naman sa Pilipinas, yung mga, yung nakakahiya din sa parents kasi pag-uusapan, yung anak ni ganito, bagsak, repeat. Siyempre, inisip ko na lang magulang ko, hindi ko talaga gusto yung nursing. I'm actually better in math than sciences. So, ang weird, di ba, na napunta ako sa nursing. Pero wala nga kasi akong ambisyon nun. Sabi, go with the flow. Second is mga tropa ko. Kung hindi dahil sa mga kaibigan ko na tinuturing ko mga pamilya ko talaga, hindi ako makakapasa ng nursing. So, we push each other. Hindi kami matatalino. Medyo may pagka-school bukol kami. Dota dito. Tapos,
May nakarelate.
So, ayun. Yun yung
nakarelate.
Shoot na shoot.
Di ba?
Ah,
Saya nun. Na-enjoy ko yung college, pero munti ka nang bumagsak. Pero kami magkakaibigan, nagtulungan naman kami na as much as possible mapasa natin nun. So all of us graduated nursing. And 2011, passed the Philippine licensure exam, then worked, then iba-iba na kami ng pathway. Though, kasi may Facebook na nun, so madali lang makipag-keep in touch with batchmates. Then, so first work ko, National Children's Hospital, wala kasi talaga, I know that I need to go to another country because sweldo nga nung time na yun, first sweldo, 8,000 pesos. So, sabi ko, hindi ka makakabuhay talaga ng sarili mo, let alone having a family. And sabi ko, even if, because I've asked my nurse, the regular nurses in that hospital how much they were earning, I think it was 15. Swerte ka na maka 18 eh. 18,000 around 2011, swerte for nurses. Swerte ka na nun, and government hospital. Although the benefits are actually great, but still you need money to start, especially for your 20s and 30s to start a family. Kailangan mo talaga ng pera. So, aim ko mag-ibang bansa, but wala akong particular na bansa na gustong puntahan. Obviously, US, mainly because I have family in the US, family members, relatives there in the US. Then I met my wife in the same hospital where I first worked. So, naging girlfriend ko siya noon. Then siya yung gusto talaga mag-ibang bansa. So, siya actually nag-direct sa akin sa bansa kami. So, nagpunta muna siya ng UAE. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Doon siya nurse for 3 years. So, LDR kami 3 years. Then, sabi niya, gusto niya mag-try ng English speaking countries like US, New Zealand, Australia, or United Kingdom, anywhere in those 4 countries. And I said, yeah, that's fine. Let's try it. We will not lose anything anyway, maliban dun sa pera ng pang-examination and sa mga pang-commute para mag-asikaso ng papeles. So we tried first United Kingdom, mainly because it's faster the pathway is faster going to United Kingdom. Unlike in the US, nung 2018, we were sorting out our papers 2016, 2017, and we've heard that it takes a long time before you get an approval visa to work in the US. Despite passing NCLEX, NCLEX is nursing licensure exam in the US. So napakasikat yung NCLEX. So marami nag-NCLEX na mga ka-batchmates ko din, and even higher batchmates and lower batchmates. However, ang tagal din nila naghintay nun. So sabi ng wife ko, gusto niya na umalis. Gusto niya na mag-work sa other country, English-speaking country. So I said, let's try United Kingdom kasi parang mas mabilis. Although may mga examinations, same pathway almost with the US, but processing is faster in terms of its visa. So we tried it, and the rest is history. So yeah, naging smooth naman yung transition and transfer namin afterwards.
At least naging successful naman yung transition nyo. Although for sure hindi siya madali, 'di ba? Pero at least maganda yung natuloy yung blueprint ng sinasabi ng mga parents natin na mga ibang bansa ka, 'di ba? Kasi
pinatunayan.
Pinatunayan ni Eva na talaga may opportunity, may possibility. But yung volume kasi, 'di ba? Yung volume nung how many number of nurses graduated, 'di ba? Year in, year out. Tapos ilan lang talaga yun. Nga yung sinabi mo na yung kayo pa yung magbabayad, narinig ko din talaga yun sa mga kabatch namin ni Parikoy, na talagang tunay to na parang kailangan mo pa magbayad for the sake na magkaroon ka ng experience.
No?
Oo, no, parang nag-take advantage pa tong mga hospitals na hindi kayo bayaran pero nag-aral kayo for 4 years, nag-board, tapos kayo pa magbabayad para lang magka-experience, di ba? Grabe. Pero anyway, that's a different story, mga ka-OFP. Mahaba yun. So, nagrarant lang tayong konti. Pero yun nga, na parang at least, kumbaga pinatunayan ni Eva na there's always an opportunity, and yun nga, may pathway siya papuntang greener pasture. Tapos, may second question ako bago ko balik kay Carl. Bakit pumasok yung investing? Kasi nurse di ba? So parang medyo malayo Magigets ko.
Malayo.
Oo, pero kanina sinabi niya, while I'm listening to his story, sabi niya, math. Magaling siya sa math. So, meron ba connection yung math do sa investing? Oo, yung nursing. Kasi sa nursing, feeling ko, may math doon, pero hindi pang engineering math, di ba? Parang, Oo. So, sige, Evan, bakit napasok yung investing?
So, balik mo na ako dun sinabi mo sa nursing nga. There's a running joke nga na that's why Filipino nurses took nursing because there's no math. If there's math, it's simple math. Kasi nga, computational drug. So, divide times lang. Yun lang naman yun yung sa IV fluids. Yun lang yun talaga yung math na gagamitin mo. So, kaya daw mga nag-nursing yung mga Pilipino na para daw makatakas sa math. And, yun yung joke doon. Tapos, inisip ko nga, oo nga, totoo nga naman, konti lang talaga yung math nun. Then, nakakatawa doon, yung math pa nun, minsan makikita mo talaga na may marami akong mga kaibigan ng kabatch na nahirapan talaga dun sa simple computation na yun. Then sa akin nga, kasi gusto ko yung mathematics, not too bad, I understand it quickly. Ngayon, going to investing, I think I should go turn back the dial first. Personality-wise, when I was young, I have this already habit of saving money. Ang turo sa akin ng parents ko kasi nun is, kung may gusto ka, pag-ipunan mo muna. Syempre, bata ka pa lang, wala ka naman, hindi ka naman nagtatrabaho, kundi madudole yung magulang ko. So, bawal magtrabaho. So, binibigyan nila akong baon. Parang na rin, as incentive na to do well with school, to do well with your grades, you need to study hard, then we'll give you pocket money. So, yung pocket money na yun, ma-receive ko. Then, yung pocket money, may percentage na yun. Hindi ko inisip to as bata, na percentage-wise. Walang mga budget ng bata ko. Pero it makes sense na, mahilig kasi ako sa laruan. Like, si Carl dito. Nakikita mo sa likod, di ba? Mahilig din ako sa mga figures. But during that time, syempre, alam mo yung text, di ba? Mga Ghost Fighter na text pa. So,
Cards.
Mga cards. So, may mga tindahan ng dati. Yung sa baon ko hindi ka naman makakabili nun. So, it makes sense na ipunin ko na lang muna kapag abot ko yung price ng cards na gusto ko, tsaka ko gagastusin. So, yun lang naman yung simple na doon ko nasimulan natutunan. So, hindi sila nagbibigay ng malaki, nagbibigay lang sila ng amount na matutuwa akong mag-ipon para mabili ko yung bagay na gusto ko. So, nagets ko agad yun. Then, when I went to college, wala akong interest in investing. Hindi ko nga alam yung word na investment. Then 2013 came. By that time, I've been working as a nurse for 2 years. And my dad earnestly pleaded talaga. Pero talagang encourage niya ako na, nak, invest na ilagay mo sa bangko yung pera. Ba't hindi mo invest? Tapos ako, invest. Hindi ko alam talaga ibig sabihin. First time ko narinig yun. Kahit kanino, hindi ko narinig yun. Invest. Okay. Sabi ko, ibig sabihin nun, Daddy. So tawag ko D. Sabi na kapag in-invest mo yung pera mo, basically binibigay mo yung pera sa kumpanya, tapos yung shares ng kumpanya sa iyo yun. Kung lalago yung business, let's say for example, noong time na yun, Manila Electric Company, then you have SM Prime Holdings for SM Malls. Kung lalago and Banco de Oro, BDO, up until now BDO is one of the top 3 largest banks in the Philippines anyway. So, even that time, malaki na rin ng BDO. So, sabi na, kapag bumili ka ng shares na to, binigay mo yung pera, tapos kunin mo yung part ownership ng company na yun, lalago din yung pera mo. Sabi ko, parang masyado sketchy nun, parang ang dali nun, parang masyadong madali, parang it's too good to be true na bigay mo dun. Tapos, shares ng company, ano ibig sabihin nun? It's parang it's out of this world. Can you even own companies na kakatiting lang yung pera mo? We're talking about Manila Electric Company, the biggest provider of electricity, transmission of electricity in the Philippines, biggest mall provider, SM Prime Holdings, and biggest bank in the Philippines. Isang nurse lang ako nakakatiting yung sweldo ko. Can I own that things? Pero in-insist na yun. So, 2013, started investing. May pagka-happy-go-lucky din kasi ako na sabi ko, sige, maliit lang sweldo ko. I'll allocate some of my savings there, and let's see what happens. So happy-go-lucky, invest. My dad even is very supportive. He explained to me, go to Call Financial. He even assisted me going to Call Financial. It's a brokerage. Parang pupunta ka sa market. Let's say for example, punta ka sa market para bumili ng isda. Siyempre, para kung makabili isda directly, kailangan mo ng market. So, ang may access, parang ka ng access sa market, kailangan nasa stock market, kailangan mo ng brokerage. And Call Financial is the middleman. They're the brokerage that buys and sells investments in your behalf. So, punta ako doon, sinuportahan tatay ko. Ako wala akong kaalam-alam, go with the flow. Then, nag-open ako brokerage account, transfer ako money. Bali ako ng shares ng mga companies na sinabi niya. There's no math in there, by the way. Wala pang math yun. Wala pang math yun, di ba? Wala akong sinabing 1 plus 10 times 10. Wala akong sinabing ganun. So, yun. Then, the rest is history. For the rest is history afterwards doon, nag-grow investment. Wala akong kaalam-alam. And I just got lucky, by the way. I just got lucky with that kasi wala akong alam. It could have gone to zero. I just so happened bought the biggest companies even up to this day in the Philippines. So yeah, yun yung backstory ng investing ko. It's because of my dad really.
Okay. So talagang innate siya sa'yo. Kumbaga parang na naturo simula nung bata ka and then eventually nag-grow.
It's connected in a way that because there are two types of people in terms of money. General lang to may mga savers, may mga spenders. Yun lang talaga yan eh. Then may spectrum yun. Gaano ka gastos, gaano ka kuripot. Tapos may spectrum rin. Pwedeng nasa gitna ka o sobrang kuripot mo, sobrang gastador mo. Each one of us, everyone is in that spectrum. So nagkataon lang ako, medyo saver ako. Pero tulad na sabi ko kanina, di ba, nagsisave ako para gumastos ako sa cards ng bata ko. So I wouldn't say na kuripot ako. Well, yung mga kaibigan ko ng college would say otherwise. Pero syempre college mo, wala naman akong sweldo nun, mga bigay ng parents ko. So medyo sa saver type ako.
Nakaka-relate ako sa'yo, Evan, kasi I remember nung high school din ako naman board games naman yung hilig ko. And ganun din yung ginawa ng parents ko sa akin na parang, sige, gusto mo yung board games na yan? Pag-ipunan mo. So parang sabi niya sa akin, bibigyan kita ng 1 month na allowance mo or bibili natin yung Monopoly pa yun eh. So talagang medyo mahilig na rin talaga ako sa yung pera-pera. So nag-start ako, Millionaires, yung concept, then Monopoly, sabi ko. Yung Monopoly at the time, parang 1 month na allowance ko siya para mabili ko. Kasi ang mahal eh. Siyempre magkano lang naman yung baon mo everyday kasi bata ka pa. So sabi niya, okay, sige. Sabi ko, nag-isip ako. Sige, sabi ko, pwede na yan. Wala akong baon for 1 month. So ang ginawa ko, dahil wala akong pera, lagi na naman ako nagbabaon. High school na ako pero may pack lunch ako. Diba, usually high school ka na, hindi ka na magpa-pack lunch eh. Kasi binata ka na eh. So nung elementary, okay pa. Pero sige, sabi ko, alang-alang dahil gusto ko talaga yung Monopoly na bili ko. Pero wala nga akong pera for 1 month. So what I'm trying to say here is that yung pagiging saver, gusto ko yung term na sinabi mo na parang meron nga spectrum. So it depende. Meron talagang savers pero frugal sila in such a way na they just wanted to save. But there's some na katulad natin, we save kasi meron tayong pinag-iipunan to spend. And then eventually nag-evolve ka to a more sophisticated saver, which is investing, which is nice. Kasi ngayon, lumalago na, nag-yield na yung yung pagiging saver mo, which is mas maganda kasi talo ka sa inflation kapag sinave mo lang, di ba? So, yan yung mga part na technicalities na, di ba? So nakakatuwa kasi na-appreciate ko, parang medyo almost pares tayo nung dinadaanan. Tapos, sa akin naman, ang naging while inaantay natin si Carl na bumalik yan. Yung sa akin naman, na parang yung Rich Dad Poor Dad naman yung naging very sa akin. Sobrang game changer siya. Oo, siya yung eye-opener. Kasi kung nung bata ako, hindi talaga ako nakakabasa ng libro eh. Like, pag pinagbasa ako ng libro, 5 seconds nakakatulog na ako. Ganon yung approach ko. Pero nung nabasa ko yung Rich Dad, nung parang na binigay sa akin yung Rich Dad Poor, okay pala to, no? Parang ganun pala dapat, na parang mind opener siya and that started and changed everything for me, na parang paano yung approach ko sa pera. So ayun, yun lang naman, side comment, kasi natutuwa ako kasi parang sobrang nakaka-connect ako dun sa dun sa storyline mo. Pero dahil nandiyan na si Carl, andiyan na ulit?
Dito na. Sorry, na-miss ko yung kwentuhan nyo about nung about ano yung mindset nyo about investing and ano yung mga naging discarding nyo before, no? Actually, may gusto lang din akong i-share. I mean, nung high school, nung college days natin, no? Unlike ako, pag may gusto kang ambilin, pag-iipunan mo talaga siya, di ba? But ang ano mo nun is not to save talaga. You nag-iipon ka para may bilhin or para may gawin, para may puntahan. And then hindi mo naisip na kaya mo palang mag-ipon eh. Kaya mong dumiskarte, kaya mong gumawa ng paraan para magawa yung gusto mo. But why not now na nag-a-abroad na tayo? Bakit hindi natin gawin 'yon? Diba? Pwede mo siyang i-apply in different aspect din eh. So ayun. So nasaan na nga ba tayo? Ano ba yung na-miss ko dito?
So, yun lang, napag-usapan namin yung investing. We started on investing. Ayan. Doon pa lang.
If I may add lang, kasi about that mindset, pare-pares sa experience, we save for something that we want, and we're willing to forego the immediate needs, immediate wants, immediate desires. So, sa akin lang naman kasi, hanggang from today up until last moment, nung baka maging downer masyado. Pero, no one's immortal anyway. From today up until tumanda tayo, mamatay tayo, the goal of life naman is to enjoy life. So we only save really for something that we cherish in the future, or the something that we'll need in the future, that we want to get in the future, maybe business yun o bahay. So really, it's saving and investing is just really prioritizing what we really want for our family, and what we think that is actually meaningful for our entire life. Yun lang naman din yun eh. Kasi we can get everything what we want right now, but then mas mahalaga pa yung, di ba, bili ka ng bahay para sa pamilya mo. So save ka muna, forgo mo muna yung mga instant pleasure. So yun lang naman.
Totoo yun. Yung delay gratification, no? Yun yung mga term eh. Oo. Na parang, paano nga ba yung ganun? Kasi yun nga, dati parang gigil na gigil ka, lalo pag kunyari, like hindi naman tayo lumaki sa yaman, di ba? Tapos parang nagkaroon ka ng pera, parang, ang gagawin ko dito, parang gigil na gigil kang gastusin, no? Hindi ka mapakaya. Di ba?
Parang dati 100 pesos na nung binibigyan tayo pocket money. Ngayon, may libo-libo.
Oo, di ba? Yung parang, ewan ko, parang yun yung psychological wallet eh. Pero sige, pag-usapan natin yung mamaya. Pero, eto Evan, medyo siguro dahil, yun nga, syempre, most likely nasa book mo to eh, na parang, maraming tao yung natatakot na mag-invest, di ba? So ito yan, yung kasi nga ignorance, or yun nga, walang education, hindi naman tinuturo sa school. Dahil komplikado, di ba? Like yung Call Financial, pares tayo, nag-start din ako doon, tapos lumipat ka na yung mas complicated, di ba? Pero kunyari, let's say itong mga ka-OFP natin, ito yung first time nilang mag-i-invest. No? Paano mo ba i-explain sa kanila in a layman's term, or yung talagang newbie term, paano ba mag-invest?
Okay. So, layman's term is you're putting money to work. So, parang ano pa rin, medyo complex. Parang gulo pa din, di ba? Putting money to work. How will you put your money into work? So, saan mo ilalagay yung pera mo? So, saan mo ilalagay pera mo comes down to assets. Medyo magiging boring ako dito kasi it's really hard to explain investing without knowing what assets are. Kasi many people will argue na yung pagbili ko ng bag, investment to with appreciate price. Sure, there are some nuances to that, but not always, not necessarily. Sometimes it's psychological as well. So, what are assets? Basic lang bibigay ko. So, you have your cash, yung pera, liquid money, yung pesos or Singaporean dollars kung saan ka man nakatira, because you can buy stuffs that will improve your life, and that's still an asset, it's liquid. Second is property. Pinakasikat yan. Lahat ng tao, lalo sa Pilipinas, kahit dito din, kapag mag-invest ka, it's always property ang unang papasok sa isip mo. Pero let's be real, wala tayong milyon-milyon na pera para mabili yung property. That's why umuutang tayo. So, pero yun ang pinakakilala kasi property is one of the oldest assets in human history. Talaga nag-appreciate price na. I don't contest property asset. But there's a lot of complexities, and not everyone is meant to invest in property because it's complex. Kala madali. Napaka-complex po niyan. I wouldn't say mas madali ang stocks. I wouldn't say that, but there are extremes naman kasi. Third one is commodities. So kapag sinabing commodities, yan po yung gold, silver, platinum, you have coffee, lahat po ng mga raw materials na ginagamit natin sa pang-araw-araw. Yan, mga commodities yan. Pero mahirap din po kasi bilhin po yan. Dahil saan mo i-store yung gold kung gusto mo ng physical gold, di ba? So medyo alanganin commodities for starting investor. Then we have two more. So I've said already, cash, properties, commodities. We have bonds. Ito, most people doesn't know about bonds. Pero kasi, have you heard about one man's debt, utang, is another man's asset? So utang ng isa, asset ng isa. Kasi syempre, kung may magpapautang, ibig sabihin, may magbabayad ng utang na yun. So asset sa isa, tapos debt sa isa. So mangyari dyan, hindi po ito yung ordinaryo lang na pupunta ka sa kapitbahay mo, uy, pautang naman. Hindi po ganun yan. Mahirap.
Hindi si Mark. Hindi si Mark.
Hindi po ganun yan. Hindi po nababayaran yan madalas. Ito po ang sinasabi ko po is, ano po ito, approved by the government, approved by law. If the debtor doesn't pay for it, they can be sued by the debtee, yung mga pinagkakautangan. So, ang common po dyan, gobyerno. Ibig sabihin, ang gobyerno ay uutang po sa mga investors. Investor means that includes you, mga institusyon din, kahit sinong tao. Kahit sino po yan. So, uutang sila, hilingi sila ng pera. Ngayon, ang bibilin mo, yun po yung tinatawag na bond. Parang certificate ka na sinasaad nito na, let's say for example, ang Philippine government ay umutang po ng 10,000 piso. Babayaran po namin to in 5 years time. Ito po yung interest. So, yung interest na sinabi nila, yun ang income mo. Tapos, pagkatapos ng 5 years time, ibabalik nila yung buong utang mo. So, gobyerno yun. Second is mga kumpanya. Manila Electric Company, pwede silang umutang sa mga investor. So, kapag binili mo yun, makakuha mo yung certificate. Ang certificate, ganun din. For how many years nila babayaran? Babalik namin yung utang namin. Tapos, ito yung income mo. Let's say, 500 pesos or 1,000 pesos, depende. Pero porsyento po ito, I won't go to complexities, medyo na kapag percentage na, complex na. So, yun po. So, yun. So, kaya okay siya, kasi tulad na sabi ko, approved by law, they are legally binded to that contract. So, may umuutang po dyan. So, malalaking kumpanya po yan, tsaka gobyerno. And lastly, ito po ay ang tinatawag na equities. Ang equity po na sinasabi ko ay pagmamay-ari, yun pang ibig sabihin po niyan. You have an ownership of something. And what ownership is that? It is usually through companies po. Yung mga, tulad na sinabi ko kanina, mga SM Prime Holdings, soon to be GCash. Malapit na po. Yan, GCash din po. And Ayala Companies, yun mga ganyan lang din po. So yun yung sinasabi ko po. Yun yung 5 basic asset classes, yun yung ownership po ng 5. So kapag, ito po ang sinasabi ko, yung pera nyo po, ine-exchange nyo lang po sa asset na yan. Kapag in-exchange nyo po yun, expect that some of the assets will give you income and others will appreciate. Kaya nga po kayo nag-i-invest kasi, hindi mo po kayo nag-i-invest na para na hindi po mag-generate ng income po. Mag-i-invest po kayo para mag-generate ng income kasi may kalaban po tayo na hindi po nakalagay yan sa kahit anong papeles, na hindi po nakalagay sa tax code po yan, na hindi din po nakalagay dun sa binibili ng mga product and services. Buti nga yung value added tax nakalagay dun. Ang inflation po ay hindi po nakalagay kahit saan. Mararamdaman nyo na lang dahil ang sibuyas po dati malamang magkano lang po. Ngayon after 5-10 years, makikita niyo yung difference. And sasabihin nyo na tinataasan po ng mga kumpanya yung presyo, hindi po ina-adjust lang po nila yan dahil lahat po ng presyo tumataas. So that's inflation. May mga factors po dyan na nag-affect po. So ayun, so mag-invest kayo sa assets. Ngayon, ang focus ko po kasi is equities, public companies. So in basic terms po, ina-explain ko po sa beginner na ano ba kasi yung public companies. Parang bakit ako bibigyan ng kumpanya ng income? Paano nangyayari yun? Ganito ko po sinasabi. In a family dynamics, you have your parents. Think of yourself as a kid again. Kung ano man age na. Think of yourself as a kid. And your parents has a responsibility for you. Financially, emotionally, your future, they have a responsibility. But let's focus on financials, the financial aspect of family unit. So the parents, not all parents though, but however, if you're fortunate enough that your parents will be able to give you pocket money, that's good. So let's say your parents give you pocket money. Then, if your parents gets a better job, a raise, or starts a business, basically they become financially capable, financially stable. Let's say from sweldo 50,000 pesos per month nung father, then naging 100,000. Sa tingin mo, ano yung chances na pwede din nila taasan yung pocket money mo? Yung mataas yung chance, parang mas madaling magbigay ng 5,000 pesos a month sa anak kung ang sweldo 100,000 yung parents kumpara sa 50,000. So that in itself is yung core, di ba? Yung parents na yung core. Ganun din yung explain ko sa business. You own shares of the company, mas nag-grow yung company, mas, hindi ko naman sinasabing galante, pero mas madali sa kanila magbigay ng mas malaking pera. And that income comes from dividends. Binabalik nila sa mga owners ng certificate ng company nila doon sa mga investors. So that's one part which is called dividends. So yun lang naman.
Yun.
Ayan mga ka-OFE. Nangangalahati pa lang tayo ng episode natin. Ang dami na nang na-share, di ba? And ang dami differences ng mga investments, di ba? Kasi nga, yun yung normally na tanong for an OFW or let's say sabihin na natin na hindi OFW, an employee, na saan ba ako mag-i-invest? Paano ako mag-i-invest? Di ba? When the word investment comes. So ayun, so with all of your knowledge nga about investing, no, iba't ibang klaseng investment, bakit mo naisip gumawa ng financial content at magsulat about it?
So I'll start with two perspectives first. So yung una is myself. Kasi two perspective, first perspective of myself, then for other people. So for myself kasi, nagsimula ako na may feeling ako. It's hard to completely explain, and sometimes if I explain it, people will think that it's a bit cliche, or maybe you're just having this, what's the proper term, virtue signaling. Parang masyado ka naman virtues, kala mo naman totoo, ganun. Kaya sometimes di ko pinag-uusapan. Pero yung paramdam ko kasi, gusto kong makatulong sa ibang tao. Di ba? Cliche, di ba? Pero I don't know how. First of all, hindi naman kasi ako talaga, simula meron akong feeling na natutuwa ako pag nakakatulong ako sa ibang tao. Nung bata kasi ako, when I was a kid, kunwari may magtatanong na subject hindi maintindihan, like mathematics, may magtatanong, tapos explain mo. I feel fulfilled na tapos na-gets nila yung explanation na hindi nila na-gets dun sa teacher. Parang nakakatuwa. I really feel happy about that. So somehow, meron deep inside sa akin na may educator side. Although hindi ko siya minaximize talaga kasi feeling ko lang naman parang wala akong karapatan maging educator. Yung self-doubt. If everyone has self-doubt, and that's one of my self-doubt, parang wala akong karapatan dapat magsalita ng ganito. Kasi hindi naman ako matalino. Yun. So yun. Then going forward naman, lumalakas yung pakiramdam ko. The feeling of helping others really is burning inside. I can contain it. I just don't know how to do it. Nagpa-practice pa ako dati sa video nun yung mga pandemic, di ba, 2020, sakto video ko. Dami nagpo-post na video nun. Sabi ko, hindi ko kaya na kikringe ako sa boses ko Parang pag-post nyo nito, makikringe ako dito. Kapag narinig ko boses ko, hindi pa rin ako confident marinig yung boses ko. Hindi din ako confident makita yung sarili ko sa video. So, hindi talaga. But then I found writing, and I really love writing. Although I'm not a good writer compared to others, there are millions of people who are better in writing than me, but that's the only way how I can communicate. So yeah, that's one of the reasons to pay it forward to other people. And at the same time, kasi nag-start ako mag-invest 2013, and in 2013 then fast forward to 2019, doon ako nag-delve in investing na nag-aral talaga. So I feel lucky enough. I feel really blessed na na-introduce ako sa investing at such a young age. Mind you, 23 is not a young age. There are other people who started investing at 18, even nga nung nag-aaral pa lang, na-open up na sila doon Yung runway, yung time frame ng investment horizon nila. Kung magtuloy-tuloy yung mga yan, mag-start ka maaga na grabe yung yung investment na ma-generate ng taong yun. So yeah, I still find myself lucky. 23 years old, I started investing, and I wanted to help. I just don't know what to talk about, what to share to other people. So sabi ko, I really like investing. Why not try sharing my own thoughts, my own experience to other people? So it's actually paying it forward. Na I'm blessed to have this knowledge and skills and continue to have it moving forward. So, bakit ko ipagdadamot? May ibang tao nga na hindi alam yung gagawin sa buhay. So, baka makatulong ka din. Somehow, interested pala sila sa investments. Di lang nila alam. And ako yung mag-open ng pintuan sa kanila. Oh, ito yung mundong to. Pasok ka na. baka magustuhan mo din to. It's just bringing light into a world that most people don't understand and other people don't even know. So that's what my dad did for me, and I'm now paying it forward to others. So yun talaga.
Galing. Nice one. Katawa. I mean, totoo yun no? Na parang sinasabi niya nila, cliche, kasi nga, you wanted to help. Pero, nakaka-relate na naman kami dito kasi nung ginawa rin namin yung OFE na parang...
Bakit may OFE, no?
Oo, di ba? Na parang, bakit kami gumagawa OFE? Technically, hindi naman kami kumikita dito, di ba? Na parang, ano lang to, kumbaga parang passion. But
Yeah.
it's the same for us. Maybe hindi sa amin, ito na siguro yung naging way namin to communicate. Hindi kami marunong magsulat kasi pangit sulat ko, hindi maintindihan. So, siguro dinala kami ni God na, okay, sige, mag-podcast na lang kayong dalawa kaysa kung ano-ano ginagawa nyo. So, sa'yo, ginawa naman sa'yo is to write, which is nice, di ba? Nakakatuwa kasi din nga na parang, I think we need more educators. We need more people to help us to understand this kind of things, no? Kasi, yun nga, hindi siya, simple siya kung tutuusin, kung aaralin mo, di ba? Simple lang din siya eh. Di ba? Na parang, yun yan, di ba yung sinasabi nila, ano yun, the seventh wonder of the world is the compounding. Di ba? Parang gano'n. Ewan ko, nakalimutan ko yung term, pero, di ba? Albert Einstein, di ba?
The seventh wonder of the world.
Seventh wonder is compounding interest, right? Because
8, sorry.
8 kasi 7 na. Oo. So, yung 8 is the compounding interest. So, imagine nung sinasabi niya kanina mga ka-OFE ni Evan na sinasabi niya, they started at 23. Bakit niya sinasabi? Ba't niya ine-emphasize yun kanina? Kasi nga, magko-compound yun. So, if you started at 23, you be regularly investing until you're 60 or 70. Imagine mo yung compound interest na makukuha mo, di ba? For that long years.
Long-term investment. No, I mean, hindi lang in terms of monetary, no, yung learning.
Yes.
'Di ba? Ang haba noon, ang aga nilang nag-umpisa. And tayo, like kami ni Janjan nga, wherein hustlers kami nung college. I mean, gumagawa kami ng paraan para kumita ng pera, but we don't invest, but we don't save. Nung nag-OFW na kami, nakita namin yung realidad. Doon namin nakita na kailangan palang mag-ipon, kailangan palang mag-invest. Hindi pala pwedeng itago mo lang yung pera mo, and hindi sapat na malaki lang ang sweldo mo. Kasi mauubos siya. Kasi 'di ba, hindi siya pwedeng kumikita ka lang and you're expecting on a monthly salary sa iisang trabaho. 'Di ba? And yun na nga, doon na nga nag-umpisa yung OFE story. Bakit kami nandito ni Janjan and bakit namin 'to ginagawa. And sa gustong manood, gustong matunghayan yung journey namin dito sa OFE, balikan niyo yung mga episodes namin na nag-uumpisa kami. Matutuwa talaga kayo sa mga skits na pinaggagawa namin about investing. So ayun. So thank you very much Evan for sharing. So ayan, I think may mga additional questions pa si Janjan.
Sige. So, eto, run through lang tayong konti, Evan. So, actually, tinitignan ko yung shelf mo. So, yun yung libro, di ba? Zero to Hero. Pero may nakita ko kasi dyan, yung Intelligent Investor, which is Benjamin Graham, right? So, ang tanong ko is, ano yung naging inspirasyon mo nung nagsulat ka ng book?
So my main inspiration, madaming inspiration talaga. Pero if we talk about kung ano yung book na nag-inspire sa akin na mag-push forward, magsulat, is Mastery by Robert Greene. Nakakatawa kasi hindi to finance book. Here, So, Mastery by Robert Greene. Ayan, may mga notes pa ako dito.
Wow.
Kasi Robert Greene is one of the authors na I look up to. Kasi yung success niya came in later at life, late 30s, pero he had a lot of odd jobs. Ngayon, baka alam niyo, narinig niyo ni 48 Laws of Power. Siya nagsulat nun. Then lahat ng experiences niya sa jobs, sa mga katrabaho niya, shinare niya lahat doon. Pero ginawa niya in a way na very understandable. So, pinakita naman dito sa Mastery na kasi basically yung pinaka-sentence sasabihin ko na summarization nito is the treasure you seek lies within you. It really lies within you because all of our life's goals, our strengths and weaknesses can only be found inside it. Like for me, kung hindi ko sinunod yung passion, like for you, Carl and Janjan, if you didn't, you could have done a lot of things. You could have been scared. You could have just stopped and just do your job and not do this. Just like what you said, you don't get much money from this, so why do this? But then deep inside it, it's like something's pushing you, and you can completely know why, but it feels good when you follow it. So that's the secret. That's the treasure. That there's really something inside us that has been given by a divine person. For me, that's God. So it really depends on what you believe in. But for me, that's God. So that really pushed me to do what I feel is right. And if I didn't do that, I won't be here. I won't be blessed and be honored by your presence, both of you and mga ka-OFE. So that's one of the inspiration, Mastery. It really opened my mind. It's just the same, I assume, with Janjan with reading the Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, and with Mastery and Live View, that's my eye-opener as well regarding my inner self. Second is Wealth of Common Sense. Here, Ben Carlson. Ano naman to? Ito direct na finance book naman to. Although it focuses on the US and more of the Western investments, but still because US is actually the biggest stock market, equity market in the world. More or less parang 50% or to 60% ng global stock market is focused sa US. Overweight sila sa US. So it shares the history, and also there's some math, complex things, boring stuff as usual. But it's not that of a beginner friendly. Unfortunately, you need to know some words, jargons as well. So I don't recommend reading this without any prior idea what investing is. So that's not a beginner friendly book. So yung dalawang yun, yung very push ko na mag-write ng book. However, before that, nagra-write na kasi ako ng blogs, ng mga articles. So hindi ako yung biglang nabasa ko yan lahat, gawa nga ako libro. Hindi yun. It started really, really slow, step by step. Then suddenly, kasi it makes sense eh. I published my book 8th of May 2024. I started writing finance contents through my website November 2019. November 2020. Yun. So from November 2020, I've been doing weekly posts about finance, investing, and my other interest, which is psychology, money mindset, and philosophy at times. So every week from November 2020 up until 2024. So sabi ko, ang dami ko na sinulat. Might as well make it a book. Tapos inedit ko, pinagkasya ko, tapos inanap ko ng structure. It took a few months, but mabilis pa rin siya kasi meron na ako may draft na talaga, may structure na ako eh. Kung sabaga, inanap ko na lang yung position, paano ko ilalagay sa book yun, anong mga quotes na maganda idagdag, paano ko i-connect yung mga chapters. So yun, nag-smooth siya. So I'm very thankful for that. So yun, it was a long process. And I didn't start the blog to make a book. Yun pa yung another thing eh. Parang gusto ko lang talaga makatulong. Talagang gusto ko lang ma-share yung thoughts ko. I don't impose na ito yung tamang way. I don't really impose things to other people. I just want them to have an open mind and maybe makatulong ako na maging interesado din sila. Then that for me is success personally of what I've been doing. So, ayun nga. Tapos after ko gumawa ng vlogs, tapos sabi ko, yeah, why not just make a book? So yeah, it fell into place eventually. Time really helped a lot. So yeah.
Ayun. Ang ganda nung yung passion talaga niya 'di ba, Uncle John, no? Like us, 'di ba? I mean, katulad nga ng sinabi mo, and which is yung ginagawa natin, OFE and Zero to Hero, is hindi talaga siya madali. Kasi nga yung ituturo mo is it looks boring for others. I mean, ang bilis magturo ng games, ng computer games, ng sports. It looks easy, 'di ba? And maraming makikinig. But when it comes to investing, entrepreneurship, talagang konti lang, and meron mang interested, hindi natin sila kagad maka-capture. Hindi natin makukuha agad yung interest nila. So saludo ko sa Zero to Hero kay Evan, and of course sa OFE dahil yun na nga, yun yung ginagawa natin dito, and nakakataba naman ng puso whenever there's a response na talagang may natuto and may nag-apply nung mga narinig nila sa atin, 'di ba? And ayun na nga, ito yung gusto kong itanong about it kasi 'di ba ang hirap ng ginagawa natin, ng i-share natin, ng itinuturo natin. Ano sa tingin mo yung common misconception ng mga Pinoy pagdating sa investment or investing na gusto mong baguhin?
Kailangan maging mayaman at maging matalino. Number one. Kung yun lang ang basehan nun, di na ako nakapagsimula noong 2013. Sweldo ko lang noon. It was my largest salary noong 2013 because I work as a school nurse in Xavier School, San Juan City, Manila. School nurse ako doon. Try lang. So, yun yung pinakamalaking sweldo ko nasa Pinas, 12,000 pesos. Pero, looking back, grabe yun. Anong mapoprovide ko sa anak ko tsaka maging asawa ko kung nag-asawa agad ako nun. So, kung pera at pera lang yung basis na para mag-start ng investing, you're losing the time. Because nga, tulad ng sabi ni Janjan, the compound interest, yung time. So, yun yung number one. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need to be very intelligent. Well, obviously, you need just the basic stuff to know some of the things to comprehend. It's not about investing itself, but to comprehend topics, to be able to understand things. Yun lang naman. Para kung naiintindihan mo nga yung trabaho mo, madali lang talaga investing din. If you put, the most important thing is if you put an effort to understand it. Yun lang naman din yun kasi most people would want it quickly, and I don't agree on that kasi all of us kaya nga nakapagtrabaho din tayo, most of us started as employees, nag-invest, kung isipin mo, nag-invest ka ng 4 years sa degree mo. It's the same thing. You can start something without knowing anything. You can't be an employee or be hired if you don't know anything about the job. It's really simple. Even nga yung mga yung mga entry-level jobs, like even mag-security guard ka or maging assistant ka, kailangan mo pa rin malaman kung ano yung gagawin mo. You need the basic skill to understand things. So, yeah, that's the number one. As long as you understand things, you don't need to be rich. You don't need to be intelligent. I only have an average intelligence, but I was still able to invest back in 2013. Then, second is, you don't need to overcomplicate things. Simple lang. Pero naintindihan ko bakit yung mga tao natatakot din sa investing. Kasi nga, tulad ng sinabi ko, 5 basic asset classes pa lang di ba? Cash, equities, property, bonds, commodities. Pili ka lang ng isa dyan, ma-overwhelm ka na Property pa lang You have commercial property, you have residential property, you have condos. Napakadami na. Tapos sa condos pa lang, may mga iba-ibang hassle na yan. Kasi merong owner talaga ng mismong building na yan. So, di ba? Napaka-hassle niyan. So, very complex talaga. Pero it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you need to know everything. You just need to know the basic and need to know what's applicable for you individually, your time and your ability to handle the complexities of it. If you don't want the complexities, most likely there's an easy way for you to invest in properties, same as any other asset classes, including equities. So you don't need to be in the complex side of the investment. You just need to know the easy way. And lastly, system. Kapag nagka-system ka naman na gets mo na kahit yung mga simple things, it feels easy and you're making money while you're sleeping. That literally happens, guys, by the way. But don't expect like makakuha ka na 100,000 din naman. Hindi yun. Di ba ano, no? Asa ka. So, pera na lang kung ang tagal mo na. Yun nga yung babalik tayo. If you've been investing for a very long time, like for me, I've started 23 and there are others who've started even high I think there was someone I know high school na yung savings lang nila, yung pocket money na binibigyan ng parents. So yeah, yung time na yun, eventually yung 100,000 naman, that's feasible. That's most likely that can happen pagtagal, maybe 40s, 50s, yeah. So time is your greatest friend and your greatest ally. It's your greatest enemy din kapag nag-start ka ng late, however. So yun yung yun yung dapat na malaman ng mga tao, lalo ng mga Pilipino. So yeah.
Yun,
Ayun. Ang ganda, di ba? Ako, may share lang ako about yung
Sige,
investing at kung gaano ka-early, no? Nag-abroad ako 2014, as early as 2015, nag-invest ako. Kasi the goal talaga is mag-ipon, mag-invest, makauwi. Diba? So yun talaga yun. And tulad nga ng sinabi mo, know the basics. So that time, it was really the basic. So ang alam ko lang is magbayad ng monthly, ito yung property, pauupahan ko. That's it. Yun lang talaga. And yun nga, habang binabayaran ko siya, may umuupa na, then parang feeling ko okay na ako. Well, nung si Janjan, naging classmate kami niyan sa pag-aaral about investment. So doon ko na-realize na talagang mas marami pang pwedeng gawin. Mas marami pang mayu-utilize pag alam mo yung dapat gawin when you have the investment na. 'Di ba? So ayun, so eventually napunta sa property and yun nga natuto, mas naging interested ka. Kasi nga naiintindihan mo na siya. So kung hindi mo pa siya naiintindihan sa una and lalo na aside sa hindi mo naiintindihan, feeling mo hindi ka pa kumikita. So dun yung point na parang tama ba yung pinag-i-investan ko? Wherein hindi ka dapat doon tumigil. So dapat mag-continue ka to learn about yung anong investment yung ginagawa mo para mas lalo ka maging interested and at the same time yun nga kumikita ka na.
Yes.
Diba? So yun lang. Gusto ko lang i-share about doon sa journey ko nung pag-i-invest.
Oo, totoo. Pero totoo yun talaga yun. Feeling ko yung takot kasi ignorance eh.
Yeah.
'Di ba? Yun nga na parang yun nga nakakatakot to mamaya masunugan ka ng pera or malugi. Yun yung usually yun yung laging misconception eh, no. So, ang next question ko, Evan, no. So, sa tingin mo bakit mahalaga para sa let's say mga OFs katulad natin or maybe not OFs, maybe in general na hindi lang dapat tayo mag-ipon kasi minsan yun nga dahil we're earning, pagka tumataas na yung earning mo, gusto mo tumaas na yung ipon mo. Pero bakit nga ba very important na matuto mag-invest?
So, very important kasi siya dahil nga number one, I'll cite factors, the most important factors for me and yung mga practical reasons bakit. First one is kasi nga inflation talaga. Like I've said a while ago, ramdam naman natin to. Hindi nakasulat sa papel yan, hindi nakasulat yan sa mga binayaran mo, hindi katulad ng value added tax kapag bumili ka ng certain products, mga pagkain, may nakalagay doon, di ba, ilang percent. Hindi nakalagay yan, pero you'll feel it. Most of us will feel it na after a few years, ba't ganito yung presyo? Tapos usually, it depends hindi ko pinoprotekta ng mga korporasyon na I'm not defending them, but somehow, corporation needs to adjust the price kasi syempre yung margins naman, kung sa bagay, yung kita nila, may ipit din sila. So, ina-adjust talaga nila. We're in a capitalistic world talaga. So, ganun talaga yung system na yun. So, number one is inflation talaga. Kasi kapag, tulad ng experience ko, and I would say Janjan shared this experience also for that we save something for something that we want to purchase maybe after a few months or after a year. Very fulfilling kasi alam mo yung pakaramdam the fact na nagpakahirap ka, you forgo your immediate desire then nakuha mo siya after a few months or few years. may may connection ka doon sa bagay na binili mo or sa experience na kinuha mo. You establish that connection and that connection itself puts a memory kung saan man yung pinag-ipunan mo para bilhin yun. It puts a memory. So, share ko lang quickly. I-relas na to. Regalo ni Airpat. G-Shock lang to hindi big deal. Regalo ni Airpat to nung pagka-graduate ko. Gusto kong G-Shock noon. Kaso, I think this was 9,000 pesos noong 2011 or 8 pesos, 8,000, hindi ko maalala. And naipon ko lang noon parang 3,000 ata or 3,500. Sabi ko, baka pwede mo naman dagdagan pang ko. So, dinagdagan niya. Yun, nabili ko yung G-Shock. Ngayon, lagi ko siya sinusuot. 2011 to. So, ang tanda na nito. Sinusuot ko pa rin kasi I have the memory with the watch na umati yung tatay ko, I graduated, then pera ko din, ang pinag-ipunan ko na hindi ako masyado nakapag-Dota noon, ibabas-bas ako Dota noon, para makabili nito. So there's a lot of memories. One of the things of spending money is building memories with the things you bought. Although, you're not materialistic in that point. Kasi you did something that will make you fulfilling then dun sa purchase na yun. So, sorry, I went to spending by the way. But anyways, so that's saving money. But then, when we're talking about big purchases in the future, minsan kasi saving itself is kulang talaga. Let's say, for example, gusto mo bumili ng bahay na so let's go to the Philippines, 6 million pesos, 5 million. I don't know the price in the Philippines right now, so I apologize if mali ako sa sinasabi kong prices.
Indicative lang. Okay lang.
Actually, malapit siya.
Indicative. Okay din na. Pwede na sa range. So 5 million pesos. Then kung ang sweldo mo 100,000, kung mag-asawa ka 100,000, that's nice. Then kung ang expenses mo ay more than expenses ng mag-asawa is more than 60% ng sweldo nyo. So parang ang take home nyo 80,000 o 60% ng 200,000, parang 80, around that ballpark. So ipon ka 80,000. Kasi 80,000 na yan, hindi naman completely 80,000 yung yung masasave mo. May mga panggastos pa kayo sa mga immediate na gusto nyo panggala. Siyempre, kailangan na din isipin anak nyo. Hindi mo pwede habang buhay magsisave din kasi you need to think of other people that you really love na siyempre kailangan din lumabas with family that makes sense, mag-bond ng family, hindi yung tipong para ka lang tuod na hindi nyo enjoy yung buhay nyo. So with that, you save a specific amount of money, but how much will it take for you to save 5 million, 6 million pesos? Kung ang tabi nyo, let's say 50,000, it will take years. Then at the same time, that 6 million na property, 5 million, aangat pa yun. Yung sweldo mo, lang naman ang angat ng sweldo natin, kahit saang bansa, mabagal. It's in prices of products and services goes faster always most of the time than the average salary across the world. So let's say salary mo, swerte ka na o nag-increase salary mo ng 2%. Yung prices, inflation 3%. So talagang kain na kain ka dun. So you need to invest for something that you deem worthy of purchasing in the future. Bahay, maybe gusto mo nang start ng business, you need your starting capital. Third is, gusto mo ba further education, gusto mo mag-masteral, gusto mo mag-PhD. Fourth, gusto mo bang mag-travel around the world with your family? Hindi na malaking pera yun kung around the world yun. So, are you willing to invest for 10 years? That's good. The longer, the better. And kung hindi naman kayo mag-immediate gratify, gusto nyo mag-inferred gratification. So, deferred gratification, So, yeah, that's good. That's a supplementation of your savings. So, sinusupplement mo. Kasi nga kulang kung 50,000, tapos gusto mo bumila bahay, 5 million, aangat pa yun. Sweldo mo hindi aangat. So, you need to supplement it with investing. So, it makes sense. Para, malay mo, sabay yung angat ng investments mo plus yung bahay, tapos dinadagdagan mo pa yung investments mo, yung pera na pinapasok mo doon. So, tataas din yun. Eventually, it will stack up to each other up until you reach the amount of property you want to purchase. It might take time, but at least you're already starting it. Kasi nga, mas matagal ka, mas malaki yung pera na gagawa ng investment sa'yo. Just like what I've said, it's compound interest. It's money working for you. It's the money that's working for you. It's not you. Kayod ka, sige, para at least dagdagan mo yon. Tapos yung pera na yon, bahala na siya mag-work para in your behalf. So yeah, that's the two things: inflation and supplementation of your savings. Yun, di ba mga ka-OFE? So yan kailangan mag-notes kayo, may exam tayo bukas. So kailangan yan, kailangan mag-review. Pero kidding aside, no, Evan, pero tunay talaga yun eh. Sa Pilipinas, no, pare ko yun, no, ngayon tuwing umuwi kami, nagko-compute ka na eh. Nagko-compute na kami ng parang Singapore rate na yung gastusin dito sa Pilipinas. Parang ganun na eh. Parang dati siguro before pandemic, hindi mo masyadong ramdam na ang taas. Pero nito, nung after ng pandemic, tas umuwi kami sa Pilipinas, tas kunyari kakain kayo sa labas ng family mo, di ba? Or ng mga friends mo. Tapos biglang yung isang meal, mako-compute mo. Halos
Parang
rate na
parehas
ng,
na lang
parang parehas na. Na parang
Ah.
dati, yung $10 ko ng Singapore dollar, siguro mga 2-3 kain sa Pinas. Pero ngayon parang 2 na lang, parang ganun, o 1.5
Isa.
na lang, parang, minsan isa na lang. So talagang tunay yun eh, no, yung invisible hands about inflation na talagang tuloy-tuloy siya pero hindi natin alam na nangyayari nga. Pero mafe-feel mo na lang siya lalo kapag kunyari ang monthly allowance mo is 5,000 pesos for food, tapos biglang ba't ngayon hindi na magkasya yung 5,000? Kasi nga may inflation. So
Saka
meron
yung inflation, no, wait lang, yung sa inflation, no, ang masaklap nun, that's beyond our control eh.
Exactly.
'Di ba? So,
Wala.
I think investment talaga yung makakatulong sa atin about that.
Wala talaga. Kumbaga, domino eh, di ba? From macroeconomics to microeconomics, talagang yan, the domino effect. So, meron akong side question actually, wala to sa listahan namin. Pero, kanina pa natin hinihit yung investing, di ba? Pero kung titingnan mo sa mga social media, ang matunog talaga trading. Di ba? Ano ba talaga yung difference? Kasi yung iba, feeling nila kapag bumibili sila ng stock, bumibili sila ng crypto, investor na sila eh. No? Parang ganun eh. So, Evan, bigyan mo nga kami ng clear picture. Ano ba yung pagkakaparehas o pagkakaiba ng pagiging investor tsaka trader?
So, yung pinaka-simple na explanation ko would be, if you're an investor, you'll buy, parehas naman kasi yan, they'll buy an asset. Investor and trader, they buy an asset. They're the same. Ang pinagkaiba lang, investor holds the asset that they think will generate income for the long term. Tapos i-hold nila yun. They'll only sell it, for me, in two ways. First is, investor to first is, kung naabot na nila yung amount na kailangan nila para bilhin yung products or services or experience na reason bakit sila nag-invest in the first place, di ba? Going back to your example dati, nag-invest ka for the bahay. So, naabot mo na yung 6 million, for example, kaka-invest mo ng income mo, naabot mo na yung 6 million, benta mo, assets mo, yun may bahay. As simple as that. Trading is short term. Parang gusto mo lang ng quick money gains. Yun lang yan. So, compared to investor where they will purchase an asset, then hold it for a long time. Trading, purchase assets as well to sell it sometimes within a day. Minsan nga within an hour. So it really depends. There are some who will sell it within a week, a month. Others will be within a day or even hours. May iba minuto pa, within minutes lang eh. So, yun ang purpose kasi nun is buy high, sell low. Yun ang maririnig mo madalas. Kapag sinabing buy high, sell low, it makes sense kapag investing, di ba? Kahit investor, buy high, sell low, ba't ka bibili sa taas na sell mo sa baba? It makes sense naman din sa investor. Pero kasi nga, in the short term, ang prices kasi, we're talking about, by the way guys, mga ka-OFE, financial assets. So we go to equities and bonds. Okay? And crypto, sige, pasok ko na yung crypto. Medyo complex yan. Madaming magtatalo dyan kung financial asset ba crypto.
Pero other topic naman siya.
Pero hindi ko na i-contest yan. Pero may disclosure lang, may Bitcoin ako. So ayun, so nasa open-minded ako eh. So open-minded naman ako in terms of investing. So small portion of my total net worth is in Bitcoin. Bitcoin lang, wala akong mga mga alts na
Altcoins.
alternative coins. Wala ako niyan. Bitcoin na yun. So, financial assets, so bonds and stocks, equities. So, makikita mo yan, makikita mo minsan sa news yan, bumagsak yung Philippine Stock Exchange Index. Makikita mo yan, may price, tapos may nakalagay na number, 5,900, 6,000, every day, may o kaya minsan every week at the end of the week, Friday, makikita mo yan sa news. Lalo na sa ANC. ANC is usually business media about whatever's happening in the economy, in the business, and even the market. So, ANC. So makikita mo price, pababa, pataas. So, investor doesn't care about the price, provided na confident ka sa binibili mo. Kung based dun sa pagkakaintindi mo, sa pagkaka-research mo, na hindi malulugi man kung ano man yon business na binili mo, then in the long term, hopefully it'll go up. Then in the short term, magulo yung prices na yan. But then, ang pinakaiba sa traders, dun sila nagkakapera. Dun sa tataas bigla, bababa agad yung price. Kasi pinipredict nila, well, depending sino mga kausap mo, most traders would say that they don't predict, they just base it on the chart price, and it makes sense anyway because you can't predict any prices at all. Kung yung prices nga ng mga bilihin hindi natin ma-predict, alam lang natin tataas, pero ano yung taas na yun, ano yung exact price, hindi mo ma-predict, pero alam mo tataas. Same din sa trading, alam mo tataas, alam mo bababa, hindi mo alam kailan mangyayari, pero kapag bumili ka sa baba, umakyat yan, benta, so short term yun, di ba? Parang you're just buying and selling. Kunwari, bili ka buying and selling sa Shopee, bili ka, benta mo ng mas mahal. Ganon din yun sa trading naman. So yun yung pinagkaiba. And by the way, 95% when we talk about stock market and even any financial markets, I'll include crypto as well. 95%, I think this is based on US statistics, 95% are traders. 95%. Majority talaga traders. Kahit yung mga big institutions, traders yan, mga yan. And only 5% or less are investors, long-term holders. So, and ang nakakatawa sa 5% na yon, madalas yan mga investment, mga pension funds, mga pang long-term kasi, di ba? Ayan, madalas yan mga pang for long-term investments talaga. So yun lang naman.
Ayun mga ka-OFP, no? So trader tsaka investor, medyo magkamag-anak pero magkaiba ng goal.
May difference pa rin.
Oo. Pareha sila ng goal pala, magkapera, pero iba yung approach ng dalawa.
Atake.
So,
sa atake nagkaiba.
Oo. At saka yun nga, pagka magiging trader ka din, dapat talaga you need to understand ko.
Technical ka rin dapat talaga, no?
Oo, sobrang technical charts, tapos yung fundamental news, 'di ba? So maraming factors to think. Pero pag investor ka nga, sabi nga ni Evan, you sleep like a baby kasi nga you don't care yung yung fluctuations nung prices within the week. Kasi ang horizon mo is years or maybe months or 6 months to 1 year. So yun yung very very critical. Kasi siguro kaya ko lang natanong Evan, no, pero bago ako pumunta doon sa talagang question ko is marami kasi tayong siguro human nature na parang kunyari meron kang investment pero gusto mong galawin, alam mo yun?
Activity makes you fulfill in a way that you're doing something.
Yes, di ba?
Yun activity to. Balik rin kasi sa investing. The more inactive you are, the more money you'll make in general.
Oo, boring talaga siya di ba? Na parang you need to be boring as much as you can. Very, kumbaga may rules lang na pag ngayong buwan, ito na, papasok ko lang sa investment to. Tapos na. Ganun lang, 2 moves lang. Nilipat mo from your bank to the broker, then broker to buy the asset. Tapos na. Sarado mo na ulit yung yung
pahinga ka na muna.
Pahinga na ka na. Next month na ulit. Pero yun nga, Pero kasi, kaya ako kinikwento rin to mga ka-OFP kasi I've been there as well. So, na parang naging trader din ako na parang malikot din yung kamay ko na parang lalo na nung may up na, di ba? Na parang
gusto mo sumunod. Gusto mo sumunod sa
So parang pagbukas mong ganun, biglang pumalo yung isang share o yung stock, di ba? Na parang, teka, bibili ko. So parang yun nga, yung fear of missing out, di ba? Na parang na-excite ka na, ako din, sasabay ako. Ang problema, umakyat na, nung pag-akyat na, pababa na pala yun.
Laging ganyan yan. Laging ganyan, walang mintis.
Oo, walang minti. So kumbaga, yun yung mga ano. Pero sometimes, yun nga, dadaan tayo doon para matuto, then tuition fee. Lagi namin sinasabi ni Carl to, pagka may pinapasok kaming, may mga ventures kaming business or may ini-investan kami, pag nalugi kami, tuition fee na yun. Term
Tuition
namin doon,
yun.
tuition. Kasi you've learned. Hindi ka man kumita, pero you've learned. So, ayun. Anyway, eto na yung question ko talaga, Evan, no? So, yun kanina, side quest lang yan, side quest. So, eto, for entreps, OFWs, or, yung talagang gusto pa lang mag-start when it comes to investing and growing your business, ano yung top 3 na practical advice na maibibigay mo?
So I'll say the top 3. The first one would be never stop learning. So never stop learning and investing in yourself. So it's plus the curiosity maximization. I'll delve into that later. The second one is shorten the gap between the idea or creation and execution. So yung naisip mo siya, study onte, then execute mo agad siya. So i-shorten mo yun. Then lastly, if you're having to make a decision, especially mga hard decision, I always lean into the one that will lead you long-term gains and will give you a short-term gain. Always. Hindi lang sa investment, hindi lang sa business. We're talking about life in general. Health and fitness, relationship, mental and spiritual well-being. So I'll start with never stop learning. Kasi and curiosity maximization. I'm a curious person. I'm lucky to have that curiosity as well. I believe na si Carl and Janjan din curious and hindi sila mag-start ng OFE na to kung hindi yan curious na tao. So once you're curious, basically go into it. Kasi the curiosity itself tells you something about you, di ba? Parang, ba't ako curious dyan? Let's say there are people who are curious about plants. There are people who are curious about vehicles. Pero kapag sinabi mo sa isang tao na curious sa plants, ba't tayo ng vehicle? Ganda-ganda magkawang vehicle, tapos share nila yung passion nila about sa vehicle. Nung sabihin, ano gusto mo dyan? Mas maganda yung plants. Parang, there are two different people, but then mamaya may makilala sila. Parehas nang gusto yung plants, parehas din gusto yung vehicle. So, it tells you about yourself. It doesn't tell you about the other people. Yeah, if you ask them why, you'll get it. But then, the most important is yourself. So once you delve into your curiosity, go learn it, and you might get to know more about that thing you're curious about, and at the same time, you'll get to learn about yourself. Maybe you like plants kasi you like cultivating things pala. You want to grow something, and eventually mag-grow yung yung passion mo na hobby na yon na mag-start ng plant business mo. Buy and sell, cultivate, buy and sell. So you'll never know up until you are in that specific moment in time. Hindi mo mapipredict yung future at all na with certainty. Even with me, example ka na lang din yung book. So yeah, na-cultivate ko na lang yun. Hindi ko na-expect magka-book. Gawa lang vlogs I wanted to share, but it happened. So yun, curiosity maximization. Then always know the basics about the thing that you're curious about. Kung gusto mo about pabalik-balik ako sa plants kasi recently ko na-find out.
Plantito.
Naging plantito pala. Ayan.
Recently na. Ang weird, saan ako napunta kasi nga masyado akong curious na tao. So napunta ako dyan. So just the basics, kailangan nila ng araw, tubig, wag masyadong tubig, nalulunod pala, mamamatay mo sa magkakatubig. So yun na mga basic na yun, basic care lang. Then yung mga complexities will come in, and if you want to go dig deeper, yeah, you can try. Kung tinamad ka, ibig sabihin, that's really not for you, or maybe not yet, maybe in the future. So, yun, curiosity maximization. I'll just share one thing, okay lang ba? Mabilis lang to.
Go.
Steve Jobs. Everyone knows Steve Jobs of Apple Inc. I forgot the school where he attended, but then he dropped, I think, one of his subjects for calligraphy. Yung calligraphy na yon, natutunan niya yung sans serif na mga fonts. Mga fonts yung natutunan niya. Ngayon, sabi niya, wala naman tong long-term yield eh. Parang ba't ko kinukuha to? Pero he's just very curious. He wanted to learn about it and eventually learned it. And after 10 years, he started Macintosh. And he implemented those font styles to Macintosh. And and Macintosh boomed because of the font styles. Then fast forward today, we're using what Steve Jobs learned and the calligraphy. Microsoft followed with us with all of those types of font styles. Even now, we're using the font styles that Steve Jobs did. Hindi na naman sinimulan talaga yung calligraphy eh. But then he make it mass marketed and all of the products he started, especially when he started Macintosh. Then all Apple products from there on has been using the calligraphy that Steve just learned just from that school. And kung isipin mo, yung billionaire na yun, isipin mo natutong calligraphy, parang walang connection, pakailam dapat dun ng mayayaman na tao, natutong calligraphy yan. That goes back to just curiosity. And he used it in the future. And it helped a lot. Diba? Somehow. So, yun lang naman yung connection doon. So, don't just throw something that you don't think na hindi makakatulong sa'yo at this right moment because you don't know in the future. It might help a lot with whatever you want to do in that point in time. So, that's first one. And second is shorten the gap between idea creation and execution. Kung may naisip ka, konti, alamin mo, then try mo execute. Like ako, going back to my plans. Bumili agad ako ng plant. Kahit basic lang alam ko, try ko, yeah. Pero ang ano na kasi doon, huwag kang bibili na sobrang mahal na mabe-break yung bank mo. What do you mean by break your bank? Napakalaki yung isang buong sahod mo, pinambili mo nung kung ano man na yun. So, just start small. Parang sa investing, start small. Lagay kang pera na. Kapag may magtatanong sa akin about investment, then I'll share my ideas. Tapos iba, may nakabasa ng mga vlogs ko. Then invest sila sa index funds. Because I share about index funds more because I think that's really for everyone rather than individual stock picking. So, index funds, then maliit lang yung nilalagay nilang pera doon. 100 peso, 500, 200, 300. So, yung kaya nila na ilabas na kahit maging zero, that's fine. But then, tulad naman sabi ni Carl, di ba, nung nag-property ka, Carl, maliit lang na portion nilalagay mo, tapos nagkaroon ka ng pera, nag-generate ka ng pera, parang wow, it works pala. So, ayun yung magic nun. So, you get more interested at the same time. So, the execution and the idea creation execution gap needs to be shortened as much as possible, provided that you don't spend a lot of money for it in the first instance. And third one, general na to, always opt for the long-term yield, long-term return endeavor that with short-term pain. Because most people, our mind will try to forgo, to move, or to choose the short-term gain and forgo the long-term, the short-term pain. They'll choose the short-term gain pala and forgo the long-term, and in return they'll get the long-term pain. Let's say, for example, health. I know I've been in the healthcare. Kahit finance pinag-usapan ko, majority of my experiences is healthcare. May mga bagay na hypertension, diabetes, hindi nagsimula yan overnight. Hindi yan pagkagising may diabetes na ako. It started since you were 30s and your 20s. 20s is okay, mabilis mag-regenerate ang body. 30s, good luck sa'yo. Pag patak mo ng 40s and you really don't treat your body well, makikita mo yan. It will show up 40s and 50s, most especially in your 60s. So, yeah, that's compound interest, the negative side of compound interest. Whatever, di ba? Compound interest is immoral. What do you mean by that? It's not positive, it's not negative. Whatever you feed, it will compound. So, negative mindset, positive mindset, your health, your relationship, kung paano mo tratuhin anak mo, paano mo tratuhin asawa mo, yung spiritual well-being mo, sa community mo. So, yeah, just offer long-term gain talaga. Parang kung alam mo in the future maganda yung i-yield nito, do some exercise kahit 30 minutes, go ahead with it. Tapos, investments well, then mag-aaral. Tapos, ngayon, I believe na parehas tayong mga nagtatrabaho pa, may main job. But then in our days off or in our after work, we do the stuff that we're really passionate about. In the long term, that will yield great results. Although nakakapagod ngayon, that's the short-term pain. Parang, imbes na lang manood na lang ako, maglaro. Ba't ko pa gagawin ito? But then, you know deep inside that if I continue to do this, eventually it will yield into a beautiful fruit or a beautiful flower that everyone will be able to appreciate and help you and your family financially as well and live a better life. So yeah, that's
galing.
Thank you.
Yung galing, plantito na siya para kayo.
Thank you. Dumadami na nga eh.
Ayun, no? So talagang ikaw.
Yeah, so talagang ang dami nating natutunan tonight, today with regards to investment. So sa mga ka-OFE natin diyan, panoorin niyo 'tong episode na 'to and make sure na meron kayong natutunan tonight and i-apply niyo 'to. Ang daming ways to invest. And ayun, siguro bago ko mag-share ng takeaways ko tonight, let us Evan promote his Zero to Hero. And paano ba nila makikita, mahawakan tong libro na to at paano nila mababasa ang nilalaman nito?
So, kasi na-publish ko yung book through Amazon. Unfortunately, wala. Alam ko alam ko may Amazon na sa Philippines, if you're in the Philippines, kasi yung friend ko nakabili. But then, may middleman. It will take time. But usually, if you have in your country an Amazon website, any country, as long as there's Amazon, you can purchase my book. Just search Zero to Hero, The Rookie Investor's Manifesto. So, you'll be able to find it. And yeah, yun lang naman. So, yeah. Ito yun. Yeah.
Ayan. So ayun, so bago tayo magtapos, no. So muli maraming salamat Evan for sharing your knowledge about investment. Sobrang dami. And again, few takeaways lang for myself. And ayun, natutuwa ako dahil kasi I've been there nga, nag-start din ako mag-invest as early as 1 year after ko maging OFW. And of course, we explored different investments then. And so yung takeaways ko is, again, lagi rin natin tong sinasabi dito. Before you invest with something else, invest in yourself. Kasi yun yung tutulong sa'yo para mas mapadali yung investment na gusto mong matutunan and gusto mong i-explore. And yun, yung laging sinasabi ni Evan is that bago ka mag-jump, learn the basics kasi mas madali mo siyang matututunan, and while learning the basics, doon papasok yung interest mo. Pag unti-unti mo na siyang natututunan, unti-unti ka nang kumikita, doon mo siya maiintindihan, doon ka matutuwa, doon ka lalong mag-spend ng time the moment na nandun ka na sa point na yon. And of course, while doing that, katulad ng sinabi namin ni Janjan, and marami kaming tuition na binigay kasi nga we wanted to learn and we explored a lot. So don't be afraid of tuition fees kasi nga hindi ka nawalan ng pera dito. Nagkaroon ka ng learnings and knowledge about something na gusto mong gawin. So ayun. So yun yung mga key learnings ko sa episode na to. And support Zero to Hero para matuto tayong mag-invest. And of course, yung OFE. So ayan, while flashing the details.
Evan, question. Meron din ba to sa Amazon? Sa Kindle?
Singapore.
Kindle?
Hindi, wala
pang digital.
Pero may may ebook. Wala pang ebook lang. Pero yung sa Kindle na, kasi di ba may subscription for Kindle?
Yes.
Yun, wala siya doon.
Pero we can buy it as a digital book.
Yes.
Ebook.
Yes.
Okay. Sige, hanapin natin yan. Pero syempre gusto ko din ng physical, pero pag-usapan natin sa offline. Para
Sige.
Okay. Ayun. So yun nga, maraming salamat Evan sa iyong sharing tonight. So baka, let's see, tingnan natin mga ka-OFP, baka malay mo, meron tayong round 2 with Evan about investing na talaga. Kasi dito, we didn't discuss about the how to invest, on paano ba yung mag-enroll sa mga, yung mga sinabi niyang investment vehicles, di ba? So, hindi tayo pumasok doon. Pero, let's see, pag-uusapan natin and maybe sa side hustle, no, pare ko
Oo.
Alright. So, ayun, dito na po namin nagtatapos ang aming live session. Abangan nyo kami ulit next Thursday. Pero syempre, bago kayo umalis, huwag nyo kalimutan mag-like, follow, and subscribe sa aming social media accounts. And don't forget to join our OFE Investing and Business Community page. Hanggang sa susunod sa episode. Bye-bye!
Salamat!